Hi, Andrew from SACS, and welcome to video number 7 in our 9-video sequence on stakeholder management. Today we're talking about techniques for persuasion. Gary Uckel is kind of a guru at this, undertook a very big and very famous study into the styles of interaction that people used in order to persuade other people. If you look at these techniques of interaction, it may well be that you find that certain of them are just automatically you. They're the sort of forms of interaction that you find comfortable and easy to relate to. Others you might find not so comfortable. But the point is that planning this stuff and maybe increasing your repertoire of forms of interaction can be really powerful to cause you to be able to interact with a wider range of stakeholders. So let's talk about what Uckel discovered. First, rational persuasion. Well, that sounds like I am giving you a really well thought out argument and you're going, okay, well, maybe that's worth doing. Now, of course, that works in some circumstances, but not others. The second is consultation and partnership, and that's where you're understanding the needs of another stakeholder and you're partnering with them to achieve something. Obviously, a key thing to be done in many stakeholder interactions. The third is inspirational appeal. Now, inspirational appeal is along the lines of, hey, my fellow Australians, we need to do this, or hey, my fellow Christians, or hey, my fellow defenders of the environment, we will be able to achieve wonderful things if we do this and this and this. You're using an inspirational, almost charismatic form of interaction. Now, that's great if you can do it. Not everyone can. The next one is about ingratiation. It sounds terrible, doesn't it? I'm ingratiating myself with you. But in fact, we do it. And it can be compulsory to do it under certain circumstances. You know, I've always enjoyed working with you. Well, that's an ethical form of ingratiation, if it's true. So ingratiation is where you're seeking to build yourself into the emotions of another person. And whilst it can be done unethically, in other words, you can be pretending to like somebody that you don't, it can also be done ethically. And I think we very often miss the point that demonstrating that you like somebody can be a really powerful and ethical thing to do, and very satisfying if it's going to build a good, strong partnership relationship. The next one is personal appeal. Hey, I wonder if you could do this for me. Now, some people are very hesitant to do this, but you know, in general, people want to help each other. There is this characteristic called convivence, which is often talked about in social psychology. Convivence is the need for us to get together, to get along, to live and work with other people. It's a human need. And a personal appeal can be a way of causing people to understand what we want. And you might be surprised on the upside from time to time, actually they want to help you. Exchange. Oh, this is so old that it's got a Latin phrase, quid pro quo, this for that. I will give you this if you will give me that. And again, that's something that can be done ethically or it can be done unethically, depending on how you take the orientation. If I give you a fair exchange and I am truly giving you something which I think is worth what you can give back, then of course that can be a very ethical form of interaction. Coalition. This is where we will join together to cause something to happen. And so the coalition can be, I'll pull together a group of like-minded people, and because there are a number of us, that will cause this thing to get through. Maybe even if there are stakeholders who don't agree with it, maybe they're seeing that there are so many of us who do feel this way, that can be powerful. Legitimizing is often used. Legitimizing can be, okay, the Act requires this, the Minister requires this, the Chief Executive, the Board requires this. You're legitimizing all of this by virtue of the fact that there's some higher authority or higher rule that causes it to be necessary. The great Lord on high wants this, so we must do it. That's legitimizing. And finally, pressure. Pressure is something that's used a lot in negotiations, and that's something along the lines of, well, you see it on the internet every day. Last chance for this offer. I mean, that's a pressure tactic. Or, for instance, if you're negotiating with somebody, you hold off making the final decision until the deadline. And so, in order to get the deal done, quite often people will concede stuff at the last minute. And that's an unethical way of undertaking the use of pressure. On the other hand, pressure can be used ethically because it can be something like, hey, if we're going to do this, we really got to start right now. And if you're doing that truthfully, that can be very powerful, and it can be a useful and ethical form of, in effect, building a kind of a momentum for whatever it is that you want to achieve. So that's the work of Gary Uckel. Next, we'll be talking about leading as a facilitator. Stakeholder management is an act of leadership. Click on the link near this video to understand how leading as a facilitator can cause you to have greater success in your stakeholder interactions.